Sukhihotu, one and all. Welcome to Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page where we go live every Friday and every Sunday evening with a new topic to be discussed on the Buddha Dhamma. And this evening we have Bante, who has actually done part one of the discussion on the Achalaka Vagga, which is on the Anguttara Nikaya, chapter 3, verse, or other verses 156 to 162. Bante will be doing part two of that sermon. Um, we also have with us Bante Walas Molle Badyathera with us this evening from Sri Lanka. I would like to invite Bante to join us on the screen. Good evening, Bante. Sukhiyotu. Oh, sorry. Let me switch on your mic. Let me switch on your mic. Okay. Sukhiyotu, Bante.
Sukhihotu, good evening.
Yeah. Bante, there's some background sounds I hear from your end. Is it?
Now,
Now better. Yes, now better. Was it a fan?
yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay, that's a problem. When your fan is blowing into your mic, you get this sound, out external sounds. For those of you not familiar with Bante Badvia, let me quickly read his profile so that you know who this Bante is. Now, Bante Walas Mulle Badyathera is a 32-year-old Buddhist monk, Sri Lankan Buddhist monk. Now, he was ordained in 2001 at the Purvarama Vihara in Galle, Sri Lanka. Bante obtained his higher ordination, Upasampada, in 2009 at the same monastery. Bante has then obtained his BA Honours First Class in Buddhist Philosophy from the Buddhist and Pali University of Sri Lanka. He also has obtained a postgraduate diploma in counseling from the Faculty of Education, University of Colombo in 2019. In the same year, he also obtained a postgraduate diploma or equivalent to an MA or master's in TESL, which is Teaching English as a Second Language from the Open University of Sri Lanka. Uh, Bante has also obtained a Master's of Arts degree in Buddhist Studies from the University of Kelaniya. Bante is currently an assistant lecturer in Buddhist philosophy at the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies at the University of Kelaniya, and is also a lecturer for the Diploma in English uh, course, ELTU course, at the Postgraduate Institute of the Buddhist and Pali University. So with that, after reading Bante's profile, now you know who Bante is. He's a really well-learned monk, and he will this evening discuss, as I mentioned, the Aceh Leka Wagga, verses 156 to 162. Bante had done this last week on and explained part one of it, and now Bante will be talking about part two of the same verses. Bante?
Sukhihotu. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Muni Rajassa Sunantu Saggamukhadang Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Bhadanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everybody. Sukhi Hotu. Dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to discuss about Achelaka Vagga. You may remember last week we discussed and we started to discuss about Achelaka Vagga, and I mentioned there are 3 types of practices. The practices are named as addicted practice, then scourging practice, and middle practice. Last week I discussed about especially about those addicted practice and scourging practice, and I mentioned very few information on middle practice also, but basically I wanted to convey you
Sorry,
Sama
Bante.
Patipada,
Okay.
Nijjama Patipada, the scourging practice. For your easiness and for your reminding, I will run through those 2 areas. Actually, addicted practice or Agalha Patipada means the admiring of sensual pleasures. It is just like sensual, the first one, self-indulgence. It's just like self-indulgence. One who wish to satisfy or pleasure their sensual organs, they admired about this addicted practice, Agalha Patipada. The second one is Nijjama Patipada. Nijjama Patipada is just like self-mortification. It is the scorching practice. Then it is actually to give the suffering or to suffer the body. I explained you is just like Attakilamatanu Yoga or self-mortification. Attakilamata means to weak the soul. Their aim was, their target was to weak their soul, what they considered as soul. They wanted to weak their soul. And the practice which they used in making their soul to weak is known as Attakilamatanu Yoga, the practice which helps to weak the soul. Whatsoever, Buddha rejected both two. Why? Buddha realized those two as extremes and not so essential in finding or in attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana, otherwise in understanding the truth and reality and finding the peace of the mind. All of us are searching the peace of mind. Buddha also has mentioned in many places, in many suttas, in many stanzas, Santutti Paramang Danang, pleasure of the mind, peace of the mind, happiness in the mind is the best wealth that we can achieve or that we can acquire. For acquiring pleasure or happiness, we are doing everything. However, today I am going to discuss about middle practice. Last week I spent whole the hour in explaining Agalha Patipada and Nijjama Patipada. Those two are extremes. Buddha rejected them. By rejecting them, Buddha taught us a very good and practical practice to follow or practice. That practice is named as Majjhima Patipada. It is also mentioned in the same sutta in Tika Nipata. First one Agalha Patipada, next one Nijjama Patipada, the third one is Majjhima Patipada. When we investigate this Achelaka Vagga, indeed we can find about 7 suttas. Patama Sutta, Dutiya Sutta, Tatiya Sutta, Chatutta Panchama, Chatti, and Sattam, etc. There can be seen 7 suttas. But all these suttas are explaining about these 3 practices. Those two are also explaining the first two, Agalha and Nijjama. They are explaining in the same manner. But when explaining the third one, Majjhima Patipada, in those 7 suttas are giving different areas of the same practice. So now I am not going to discuss one sutta or one by one. I wish to discuss with you as a whole because we are having a limited time. And as well, I want to convey a good message via this middle practice. Therefore, I want to say you, or I want to preach you how these methods explained in Majjhima Patipada are practical for our lives. First, let's see what is this Majjhima Patipada. In different suttas in this sutta, it is explained in different angles. However, as a whole, we know Majjhima Patipada means the middle path, which does not associate any of two extremes. Some people would define this Majjhima Patipada as the practice or as the path which associates a little from both rejected two paths. Some people say this is like a mixture of two paths, but it is wrong. This is not a mixture of two paths. Some people say there is some a little from the self mortification or Agalha Patipada, Nijjama Patipada, and a little from the self indulgence or Kama Sukallikana Yoga. Otherwise, we can define as Agalha Patipada, but it is wrong. It is not a mixture of these two. Middle path is a separate path. Buddha completely rejected other two and he adapted his own method, and he adapted a very practical method. That is the middle path. In this middle path, Buddha has explained how a person can spend a very successful life, both in this life and both in this life and next life. For your easiness, for your easy understanding, I am trying to, I want to explain you the essence of Majjhima Patipada, or the essence, the most, the meaning, the essence of Majjhima Patipada. Actually, the essence of Majjhima Patipada is nothing else but the Noble Eightfold Path. When we study Noble Eightfold Path, we can easily understand the other things explained in Achelaka Vagga, which are known as characteristics or which are known as some related doctrines to Majjhima Patipada. They also can be recognized or identified when we study this practical method or practical path, which is known as Noble Eightfold Path. It is very practical and it is very good for one who wishes to spend a very successful life, one who wants to spend a non-violent life, one who is want to spend a virtual life, they can practice this Noble Eightfold Path and they can be happy as actual Buddhist, real Buddhist. Most of Buddhists are only having their Buddhism, only having their religion according to their family background, or as their parents are Buddhist, they also consider as Buddhist. But the Buddhist is the person who is having the knowledge and who is having the wisdom. Buddhist, the person who is having the wisdom to improve our wisdom and to improve and to behave in the society as good social beings. This Noble Eightfold Path which covers the Majjhima Patipada, middle practice, is very essential for those people. The first one is actually, there are 8. These are known as, first of all, I will explain why these are known as noble. Noble means great. They merely does not mention as eightfold path. It is added, or there is added a special term as noble. The term noble is given to show or to assure the importance and to assure the greatness. When we consider Four Noble Truths, we just don't say justly, we don't say as merely, we don't say as four truths. We say Four Noble Truths because they are great, they are very important, they are the most important truths revealed by the Buddha, declared by the Buddha. This Noble Eightfold Path also, it is known as noble because it is great both for this life and for the next life. By following or by practicing this Noble Eightfold Path in this life, he can very easily attain a good life after this life. Then, as there are 8, it is known as 8, Noble Eightfold. Then, as well, it is sorry, it is known as a path. Path is a way. Path is a magga. Magga means it is just like a road where we should walk or we should follow. Buddha has shown us the path. Then Buddha has shown us the directions. He said us, there is the direction. This is the direction you should follow. This is the direction you should not follow. Then this Noble Eightfold Path is a direction we should follow if we want to have a good spiritual life, if we want to have a good successful life. These are the good things. The first one is actually Samma Ditti. Generally, it is translation as right vision or right view. Both terms we can use, right vision or right view. Samma Ditti. What is right view? If it is considered as a right view, definitely there should be a wrong view also. Miccha Ditti. Buddha rejected Miccha Ditti. Those two practices, Agalha Patipada and Nijjhama Patipada, actually Buddha considered as Miccha Ditti. The individual should be avoided from those Miccha Dittis, wrong views. Therefore, Buddha introduced Sammaditthi, right vision, right view. We should understand what is right. We should understand what should be done and what should not be done. If it is harmful for someone, we should prevent from that. Right view or right vision. We should understand what is good for both for me and others. Actually, if we discuss further, the Sammaditthi or right vision or right view especially have 5 aspects to cover. Those 5 aspects are the person should know the origination of appearance, the cessation or disappearance, the benefits, the danger, the liberation. If he is engaging in certain action, he should know the samudaya or the origination or appearance. As well, he should know nirodha, the cessation or disappearance. As well, he should know the asada, the benefits of doing those things, whether it is harmful for me and others. If it is harmful for either me or others, I should prevent from doing those things. Just like last week I said about Attantapa Parantapa, attantapacha parantapacha neva attantapa parantapa, then we should select the last one, neva attantapa na parantapa. It should not be harmful either for me or another one or others. Such type of thing should be done. Therefore, the samma ditti is very essential and very needful. The second one is samma sankappa. It is known as right thought or right concept also. We can define it as right concept also, right thought. Right thought means there are wrong thoughts also. Right thought, opposite is wrong thought. When it comes to right thought, sankappa, generally right sankappa means or samma sankappa means to be having or to have nice thoughts, good thoughts, unharmful thoughts in general sense. But when it comes to philosophical view, or when it comes to the explanations given by the Buddha associating this middle path, we can find out three categories of sankappa, samma sankappa. What are the three? Nekkamma sankappa, abhyapada sankappa, and avihimsa sankappa. Some people say as avyapada also when it deals with the influence of Sanskrit. However, we can in Pali we know as abhyapada sankappa. Nekkamma sankappa means, nekkamma means actually renunciation. Renunciation from the household life also known as nekkamma. But when it comes to householders, we can define it as moving away from sensual pleasure. Moving away from sensual pleasure. Furthermore, he is not finding sensual pleasures. For the householders, sometimes it is not 100% practical when they are living as or when they are spending a household life. But one who wants to be away from sensual pleasures, he can follow this method, and even he can reach to the nibbana by removing or eradicating his defilements by practicing this type of nekkamma sankappas with the meditation also. Then next one is abhyapada sankappa. Abhyapada sankappa means moving away from anger. He should not be having the anger in his mind. He should be a tolerant person. He should improve his quality of patience. Such type of people also very practical and very lucky and very successful. The next one is, first one nekkamma sankappa, next one abhyapada sankappa, third one avihimsa sankappa, moving away from harming others. He should not have even the thought of harming the people. Such type of people also very admirable, very practical, and very virtue people. Then this second one is about samma sankappa. The third one, samma ditti, samma sankappa, then it comes samma vacha. Samma vacha is right speech. Right speech means we should prevent from wrong speech. What is right, what is wrong? Wrong is always harmful for others and useless for others, and it would be a problem for others. But right speech generally helps to the society. Sometimes when people speak the right speech, for the wrongdoers it will be a problem. But generally right speech is the accepted and ethical speech. It is not harmful for others. This right speech covers musavada veramani, pisuna vacha veramani, parusa vacha veramani, and sampappalapa veramani. Veramani means preventing, abstaining, or refraining. Musavada veramani means refraining, otherwise preventing from telling lies. When preventing from telling lies is a very good thing, very good type of speech. Some people are there as a joke, they for the as a funny or as a fun, they tell lies. Sometimes they are as a habit, they are telling lies. Then such type of people are rejected in the society. As a habit, they tell lies. As a fun, they tell lies. Then such type of people are labeled as liars. When they are speaking truth also, people does not care. People do not care about such people. People thinks he is speaking, always speaking lies. Therefore, this statement, which is true, also would be a wrong thing he is doing. There are many funny stories in the Jataka stories, and in as fables also we can find out very funny stories. What happened or what influenced for the liars, even when they talk the truth. Then abstaining from telling lies, Musavada Viramani. Then next one is abstaining from Pisuna Vacha, slanderous speech. Some people are there, they love to speak slanders. As a person, as an individual, generally, you or me, generally don't like to listen slanderous speech from others. If someone blame me using slanderous speech, slanderous means actually Fisuna Vacha, they are known as burning speech also. When burning speech or slanderous speech are using by someone, actually it would be a harm for some other. Slanderous speech is a type of speech, Pisuna Vacha, which is using to make quarrels between two or more people. That is very bad. Sometimes there are people who wish to do those things, who wish to fire the quarrels, and they become happy by looking at the quarreling or the fights between two parties or two people. That is very bad. When someone is telling slanderous speech, because of slanderous speech, anyone would be getting a certain suffering or harm. Sometimes the person who is telling slanderous speech himself would be getting the harm. Therefore, it is very harmful speech, slanderous speech. The next one is abstain from harsh speech. That means Parusa Vacha. Parusa Vacha. I wanted to say earlier, Parusa Vacha are the harsh speech or filthy words. Generally, as a general being, I don't like to hear any filthy word from anyone. If someone blames me using filthy words, harsh speech, or vulgar words, it's a very upset incident or very sorrowful incident for me. I don't like to hear from others harsh speech. Not only me, even you also don't like to listen harsh speech from others. We have to take ourselves as examples. Taking ourselves as examples, all of us should prevent from harsh speech. Except harsh speech, there are many kinds of nice speech. No? Gently we can talk, friendly we can talk, lovely we can talk. There are many ways to talk. No need of using harsh speech. Even though we want to do a joke, no need of using harsh speech. Harsh speech always gives a pain to the listener. Therefore, within this category, in right speech, harsh speech also should be avoided or prevented. Next one is Sampappalapa Veramani, abstaining from idle chatter or useless words, useless statements, useless speech, idle chatter. Actually, these 4 types of speech are the problem to arise different types of conflicts in the society when they speak lies or slanderous speech, otherwise harsh speech, otherwise idle chatter, useless, the gossips, talking gossips. When the people who are listening to those gossips, if they feel like these gossips are about them, then there would be definitely a quarrel. Therefore, these 4 are very harmful to the society. That's why Buddha said these 4 should be avoided. These 4 should be prevented. That's why he introduced right speech is the good speech to follow. The next one, right action. Right action or Samma Kammanta. Right action means doing the right thing or engaging in the right thing, general meaning. When we consider about right action, in Buddhism, we can identify about 3 types of action, bodily actions. What are those 3? Panatipata, Adinnadana, Kamesu Michachara. They are wrong actions. To prevent from those 3 are right actions. Then Panatipata, Veramani. Prevent him from or abstain him from taking life or killing. When I'm explaining this, I remember a very famous stanza, Sabbe tasanti dandassa, sabbe bhayanti machuno, attanang upamankatva nahaneyena ghataye. All are fear from punishments, or all are afraid of punishments. All are fear from, or all are afraid of dying or to the death. People, all the beings, not only human beings, but also other beings also love to their lives. Sometimes people are getting suicide because they are not loving their life. Sometimes they are not in a good personality to face the problems. But suicide is not the solution. Taking me as example, taking yourself as example, we should prevent from attanang upamankatva nahaneyena ghate. We should prevent from taking others' lives, killing others. I love to live. I like to live. Therefore, other beings also love to live. They also like to live. We should not take their lives. It's very bad. All the beings are having the opportunity or having the right to live. Therefore, right action covers this human right also, this right of living. Abstaining from taking life, it should be taking others' life should be abstain. Panatipata Veramani. Next one is Adinnadana Veramani. Abstaining from stealing. Stealing means abstain from what is not given. Adinnadana. Dinna means given. Adinna means not given. We should prevent from taking others' things what they did not give us, or we should abstain from stealing. That is also very bad. Stealing from others. Therefore, right action covers these 2, and the next one is kamesu michachara, abstaining from adultery or sexual misconduct. These are the reasons for fights. These are the reasons for conflicts in the society. Basically, these 7 in the right speech we said about 4: musavada, parusavacha, pisunavacha, and sampappalapa. Then these 3 Panatipata, Adinadana, Kamisumichachara. These 7 are the basic reasons for arising conflicts in the society. People fight, people kill each other, mutual problems. They are happening, they are occurring. Conflicts are arising because of these, especially because of these 7. Then next one is right livelihood. Right livelihood means actually Samma Ajiva. Ajiva means livelihood, how the individual should live, what type of living method he should adapt. Actually, when we discuss about this 8 noble fold path, there cannot be seen about the jobs or the businesses rejected by the Buddha. But when we discuss this Samma Ajiva, we can apply those things. Some scholars have explaining applying those things. In other things, we can, in other noble fold paths, except the right livelihood, we can see certain things like right speech covers, the abstaining from musava, the abstaining from parasavacha. Likewise, when it comes to right livelihood, though there is cannot be seen the mercantiles or the businesses rejected by the Buddha, we can apply those trades or businesses to here. What are the businesses? What are the trades rejected by the Buddha? Satta vanijja, Sattha vanijja, Mansa vanijja, Majja vanijja, and Visa vanijja. Satta vanijja means trading or selling the slaves, actually. Slaves. Satta. Buddha rejected that. Not to do. He said it is not a good business. It is not a good trade. Selling slaves, so selling animals also we can say Satta vanijja. Generally selling of slaves, trading of slaves. Satta vanijja. Next one is about Sattha vanijja. Sattha means weapons. Trading of weapons or selling weapons. Buddha rejected that. The third one is Mansa, selling flesh. Fourth one is Majja, selling the intoxicants or alcohol and intoxicants. Then last one is about Visa vanijja, selling poisonous or poisons, selling of poisons. Actually, just think these 5 trades. Just think about these 5 trades. They are the very expensive and the very profitable trades in the world. Selling of beings as slaves, selling flesh, selling weapons, and selling intoxicants or alcohol, etc., and selling poisonous. They are the very expensive things in the world, but Buddha rejected them. Why? Though they are expensive, though they are profitable for some people, some groups, certain groups, they are profitable. For the businessman, for the person who is selling, it would be beneficial or profitable, but for the others it is harmful. Those trades are harmful to the society. They are giving a certain some type of harm to others. That's why Buddha rejected. In the world rank, they are known as 5 best or 5 we can say as most profitable trades, but Buddha rejected as they are harmful for others. This right livelihood we can think, we can apply, though they are not directly explaining about these 5. we can apply these 5 to prevent from these 5 is also just similar to right livelihood. Generally, right livelihood is the method, the living method, which should not be harmful for others. As a wife and husband, they should have a very mutual understanding and good way of spending life when they are spending a right livelihood. The next one is right effort, samma vayama. Right effort is also right effort is generally as an individual, as a Buddhist, as a good person. Buddhist means the person who is having the wisdom, no? Knowledgeable person. As a good person, as a virtue person, people should have this right effort. Generally, this right effort covers 4 areas. When it comes to this Vagga also, Sutta also, we can find out as the effort to develop and sustain wholesome qualities already arisen. Then the effort to abandon unwholesome qualities already arisen. As well, the effort to instill the wholesome qualities not yet arisen. As well, the effort to prevent unwholesome qualities not yet arisen. That means, as the individual, he should try to improve his good qualities already he is having. That is the effort to sustain or continue or develop the good qualities already he is having. The next one is he should take an effort to abandon the bad qualities, unwholesome qualities which are already arisen. If he is having certain unwholesome qualities, bad qualities, he should try to prevent and abandon those qualities. That's the second method. The third method is the individual should take an effort to instill or to have, to improve, to qualify, to instill the wholesome qualities, good qualities not yet arisen. If he is not having that good quality in his mind by now, he should try to adapt that quality, to get that quality, to instill that quality. As well, if any unwholesome quality with his characteristics, he should try to abandon them. That is the practical path for a householder also to follow when he is applying this samma vayama, right effort. The next one is about samma sati. Samma sati means in the Achelaka Vagga, the first area when it is explaining Majjhima Patipada, it is explained as kaye kayanupassī viharati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke abhijja domanassang. Likewise, the sutta is explaining. Earlier I didn't explain those things because I wanted to show you at this time when I am explaining right mindfulness to save our time. Right mindfulness means generally the right observation, samma sati. When samma sati is explaining, we can point out multiple data points in 4 clusters. What are those 4 clusters? Kaya-anupassana, Vedana-anupassana, Chitta-anupassana, and Dhamma-anupassana. Kaya-anupassana means data points cluster from observing bodily activities. Then, for your easy understanding, in this sutta, when it comes to Achelaka Vagga, in the same sutta, in Patama Sutta, it is explained as Kaya Kayanupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima Vinaya. Likewise, there Buddha explains a mendicant or a monk meditates by observing an aspect of the body. He observes the bodily activities, Kaya Anupassana. Then here it is explained as data points cluster from observing bodily activities, means that he is observing his bodily activities. He observing them. The observation method actually should comply with 5 characteristics. What are the 5? Atapi sampajano satima vinaya. Likewise, atapi means eagerness or keen. You can translate as keen or eagerness or ardent also, atapi. Then sampajano. Sampajano means fully aware. Awareness is the ability to understand the status of what is being observed. Awareness is that. Then sampajana means fully aware. Atapi eagerness or keen. Then fully aware. Then next one is satima, attention. Next one is vinaya loke abhijja, setting aside greed. Abhijja should be prevented or get rid of abhijja or setting aside the greed. And vinaya loke domanassang. Domanassang means grief or aversion also can be taken. That also should be get rid of or should be setting aside. This is the way for your further understanding. Actually, as the time is running, it is not suitable to take much time to explain the same matter. However, generally Kayanupassana means we should be aware of our bodily activities. We should observe our bodily activities with the knowledge. We should do these activities when we are doing engaging in certain activities. We should consider about those activities. I am doing this when I am eating. I should consider now I am eating. In this way, I should do this. When we are walking on the road, we should be in our mind. We should be keeping in our mind. Yes, I am walking on the road. And this is the way I should walk. Likewise, in general sense, we can define as that way. Next one is about Vedana Anupassana, observing various feelings. This is also covers those Atapi Sampajano, Satima Vinaya Loke, Abhijja Domanasan, those areas. Vedana Anupassana means observing various feelings. We feel certain feelings, good feelings, bad feelings, happy feelings, unhappy feelings. Generally, 3 types of feelings are there: Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukkama Sukha Vedana. Happy feeling, unhappy feeling, and neutral feelings. Neutral feelings means we are not creating any mental senses, so we are not creating perception through neutral feeling, but we are creating perceptions. We are getting the perception through the happy or unhappy feeling. Next one is about Chitta Anupassana, observing status of mind. What are there in our mind? One who living the having this Samma Sati is very practical. He is very good. He is not creating problems to the society. He is not creating conflicts to the society. He is not a harmful person to the society. Very good, very practical, very ideal person. The fourth one is Dhammanupassana, observing, generally we can say as mental process, Dhamma factors, what feel as Dhammas. Generally you can think as mental process, because mana, when there are 6 senses, Chakku Sota Gana Jiva Kaya, mana touches the Dhamma, then mana deals with mental process. If one lives a life with having this mindfulness about these 4, is very good. Like I said, ideal, good, and very practical person to the society. He is not harming to the society. Then last one is right concentration. Actually, this right mindfulness and right concentration, just like two sides of the same coin. It is just like two sides of the same coin. They are actually interdependent. Samma samadhi, right concentration. Concentration is having the focus on the thing. Actually, without the right mindfulness, or when we consider about focus, when we consider about the attention, focus in the, we can say as focus in the lens. When we are focusing, we are concentrating on something, right mindfulness should be there. When right mindfulness is absent, right focus is not there. Therefore, this right mindfulness and right concentration are just like two coins in the two sides of the same coin. Therefore, these 8, actually one who follows these 8, he automatically follows Majjhima Patipada. By following Majjhima Patipada, he can very easily reach to the Nibbana, the essence of the essence of Noble Eightfold Path is the essence of middle practice. Actually, when it comes to Noble Eightfold Path, it is clear for you. This practice is what a vast practical practice. The people can practice this. If they practice this ways, if they follow this path shown by the Buddha, they can easily lead a good, successful, and happy mundane life. As well, for the supra-mundane levels, they can reach by following these methods. So as a conclusion or as a summary, I would like to say Buddha rejected Attakilamatanu Yoga and Kamasukallikanu Yoga. When we discussed Achelaka Vagga, you remember Agalha Patipada and Nijjama Patipada. These two terms were especially given by the Buddha by giving certain qualities of Achelakas and some other ascetics. We discussed them, and Buddha showed how they suffered their lives, as well how they wanted to appreciate the sensual pleasures also. But Buddha rejected them. Buddha had the experience of both too, by himself and by seeing other experiences, but Buddha rejected them, and Buddha asked and advised us to adapt the middle path, middle practice. This is the middle practice shown by the Buddha. It is very good for both of us. Both of us means for the monks as well for the lay people. Then we can live a very happy practical life without having unnecessary thoughts or unnecessary problems in our mind. As Putujjanas, as worldly beings, it is very practical, this Noble Eightfold Path. Thank you very much for listening. If there are any questions, I think this is the time for asking questions. Yeah, actually, thank you very much for the question. He's asking to be a Buddhist is one thing, but to remain as a true and long-lasting Buddhist, not giving up easily, is another. I think as I get the question, I feel in this way, you are asking a practical Buddhist is someone as well, true and long-lasting Buddhist, not giving up easily, is another. What to remain? Yeah, you're asking my comments, no? Actually, we have to practice our mind because it is not easy. It is very difficult. As worldly beings, generally we are having lust, greed, and illusion or delusion. Lobha, dosa, and moha. Greed, as well, hatred and delusion. All of us are having that in a certain level. But if we are living with the practical method, or if we know what we are having in our mind, it is easy for us to lead a good life. Giving up thing is actually not so easy, but we should practice that. In many places, Buddha has given the priority to dana. Dana means actually giving up without hoping any thing, any feedback. We are offering things without hoping any facilities. We only hope good deeds or good fortune to our life, no any physical thing. We are giving up things. Dana means actually giving up. Rather than using offering, the term giving up is the best term. Then, as a practical Buddhist, you are asking a practical Buddhist is someone, and remaining as a Buddhist is likewise such a thing. However, my suggestion is we have to practice this little by little. We should practice. If you heard my points on Samma Sati, you may remember Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammanupassana. Anupassana means we should observe. We should observe our bodily activities, and we should observe what we feel in our mind. If we can observe and understand what is the real situation on those things, we can have a very practical life. Very difficult. I agree with you. Very difficult, but we have to practice and we have to train our mind. Thank you. Yes, you are welcome, and thank you very much for the question. Already you have started. This is the way you should start. First of all, you should know what is Buddhism. First of all, you should study what is Buddhism. What is the essence? Buddhism is not actually a theistic religion. It does not depend on gods. It is an atheistic religion. That means gods also are there, but Buddhists do not depend on gods. Depending on gods is not a way of belief or following by the Buddha. They are transferring merits to the gods and hope in the wish, but they don't depend on the gods. Buddhism is an atheistic religion. What we do, we get as the results. Yadisang vapate bijang tadisang harate palang. If we are doing good things, we are getting good results. Kalyanakari kalyanang, papakari cha papangang. If we are doing bad things, we are getting bad results. Already you have started. This is the way you should. First of all, you should listen. Then you can understand those theories. And if you want to practice, you can practice by discussing with your friends, discussing with these groups members. Actually, always try to join with certain Dhamma discussions. Then you will automatically understand what should be the method for starting. Already you have started. You are lucky. Thank you.
Thank you, Bante. Those were the two questions we received this evening. I don't see any more questions, and neither do I have any questions. So we would like to thank Bante for taking his time off to explain to us the uh, Achalaka Varga verses 156 to 162. He spent two days, 2 Fridays to explain to us, and I hope you were understood what Bante was trying to explain to us. Um, so basically, there were 3 parts to the 2 hours that we spent. One was the practice of the addicted practice. We had the scorching practice, and we had the middle part. So if you need further explanation, please go to the sutta and read the sutta. I've also flashed the essence of where you can get the sutta from earlier in the talk. Please go back and do some reference to find out more about this sutta. So before we end this evening's Dhamma sharing, I would like to invite Bante to conduct the Anumodana or transference of merits to the Devas as well as to the dearly departed. Bante, would you please kindly, humbly?
Okay. First of all, actually, I want to I would like to thank my dear friend Pusselle Vinitha Thera, who is currently working as a lecturer at Nagananda University, for introducing me for you, as well our dear brother Leslie, for having such a mutual and kind relationship and connection with me, as well our brother Eric and sister Gina for hosting me, for working as the host for 2 days. As well, especially my special thank goes to Mahasangha of Buddhist Mahavihara, Venerable Nayaka Thera and all the Mahasanghas, as well for my dear teachers who encouraged me, and my parents, especially my mother and my relations, my friends, everyone for encouraging me, as well for my students in the university who encouraged me, for all of you, all the followers, all the Dhamma listeners, and the people who are joining to this Dhamma discussion. I would like to convey my thank for all of you. Now, I like to take the time to transfer merits for the gods and departed lovely ones. First of all, let's transfer merits to the gods. Gods, let's wish and let's hope the gods would get these meritorious deeds collected by us, and they would bless us to have wonderful, happy lives and healthy, wealthy, and lucky lives, and have a long lives. Let's transfer merits to with the hope of having their blessings. Akasattha cha bummattha Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Sasanang Chirang Rakhantu Desanang Chirang Rakhantu Mang Parangti Sadhu. As well, I would like to transfer merits to our departed lovely ones, especially for my father and for the relations of viewers, and for everyone. Let's transfer merits. All of them would gain the happiness in sansaric life, and finally would achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukheta hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukheta hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātenang hotu sukheta hontu ñātayo. Finally, we can wish and we can bless for all of us, and let's bless to have the supreme bliss of Nibbana and to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana by ending this sansaric life. In this way, we can collect and we can convey our merits for the sake of supreme bliss of Nibbana. Idamme punyang asavakkaya vahan hotu Idamme punyang asavakkaya vahan hotu. Idamme punyang asavakkaya vahan hotu. Sabba dukkha pamunchatu. Sadhu. Finally, I would like to bless you in this way. Ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha Atho nibbana sampatti minate samijjatu. Thanks for having a patient hearing. Wishing you good luck. I remain. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sukhi hotu.
Thank you, Bante. Thank you for sharing this evening with us and sharing your Dhamma knowledge. We look forward to more Dhamma sharings with you in the near future. So, on behalf of the Committee of Management and also the monks of the Buddhist Mahavihara, we'd like to say a big sadhu to you. And also to our sponsors this evening, thank you for your kind sponsorship to ensure that this program can be run every week on a Friday and a Sunday. And also to all our listeners who have been listening in very attentively and loyally. Many of you have been following every session that we have had over the last 9 months or so. Thank you for your kind loyalty, and we look forward to seeing you again. This Sunday, we have a Dhamma speaker. He's somebody who's very popular with Buddhist Mahavihara's listeners. He's Bante Dr. S. Pemaratana from the USA, and he'll be talking of how to deal with uncertainty in life on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. here at the Buddhist Mahavihara. So with that, we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. Thank you once again, Bante, and Sukhi Hotu to all our listeners as well. And may you have a pleasant evening. May you have everyone have a pleasant evening. Sadhu.
Sukhi hotu.